welcome to another episode. Now this is just a quick update on the V. I'm halfway there regarding clutch replacement and really how I was way off, way wrong on what I thought was the problem. Here we go. So this is clearly a Spec flywheel kit. Now look at the pressure plate. This was done 15 years ago, less than 40,000 miles. And this burring here is quite deep. I can run my thumb across it and feel the gouging in it. It's a very, very deep burr, but other than that, that's what the pressure plate looks like. I don't see a part number on the clutch itself, so I don't know what kit this is. But the clutch seems to be in excellent shape. Look at this thing. Still plenty of life in it. And then the flywheel, which I thought was still original on this vehicle. This is clearly a single mass flywheel. Right there we see Spec. And the part number does coincide to this vehicle. So at this point, it's a good news, bad news situation. Did this vehicle really need a clutch? Now, this is where it becomes interesting. Check this out. This is, when you start mating up aftermarket parts to genuine parts, factory parts, things can, you have to really know precisely what you're doing. So this is the slave cylinder that was used in the Spec kit. Now, this is the factory correct OEM part for this vehicle. And if you'll notice, there's a spacer. Now, this spacer is not factory. This is a K-Tech engineering spacer. The whole point behind this is to raise up the slave cylinder because the factory flywheel is a lot thicker. So to make up that difference, they use or you purchase a spacer. But now if I compare this old slave cylinder with the new one, this is for an LS7. So this slave cylinder and this clutch kit is for an LS7. That's a C606 Corvette, just to put your mind to it, what we're talking about. But if I place a straight edge on here, look how far off this is. Now, did this contribute to anything? I don't know. So this is ready to bolt up. It's a little bit different than the factory CTSV slave cylinder. You see how short this line is running to the clutch master cylinder is compared to this. So a little bit of modification. But other than that, once this is mounted, it's ready to go. The spacing is fine, no issues. This aftermarket part with the factory slave cylinder, did that create any problems? Because the flip side is when I compare the Spec unit to this unit, this is slightly taller as well. So I don't know if that contributed to anything. Now the thing that's sort of curious to me is this was done 15 years ago. So this vehicle was getting work done at a GM dealer under warranty for something different. And since the work was being done, the previous owner gave the dealer this Spec kit to install. So the dealership installed the Spec kit. And what's odd is this vehicle was driven just over 2,000 miles a year over the last 15 years. So now I'm thinking, was there a vibration when the customer got the car back? And maybe he brought the vehicle back to the dealer and the dealer said, hey man, you gave me these parts. We can check it out, but you got to pay for labor again. And really you should have factory parts. That's very expensive, and rightly so. Maybe they thought, you know what, I can deal with a little bit vibration. I'm okay. But because of the vibration, they didn't drive the car that much. So that's my thought process right now. Again, I'm not an engineer, I don't know. But there is a little bit of good news here. The good news is this vehicle had a very, very slow oil leak from the rear main seal. It is 20 years old. So I have a brand new gasket set here for the rear plate as well as the rear main seal. Very quickly, if you are doing this on an LS, I spent a lot of time researching this. The rear main seal, if it's FTFE gasket, which Felpro is, no oil when you insert it. If you use the GM part, which is rubber, then you lightly put oil around the circumference. So that's going to be done. Also, I have a new dog bone. Sometimes they're called barbells. It's really just an oil galley plug that sits on the back of the block. That's going to be done. So that's what I'm working with. Very excited. To be honest, it has not been that hard to remove the transmission and get to this point. There were 2 hiccups because it's a small confined space that if you have a 2-car garage, you won't have this problem. And if you watch the clutch video, you'll see the problems I ran into. But in terms of just getting everything out, not that bad. It really has not been that bad. So hopefully if you guys can follow along. Just want to give you a quick update. And as always, thank you for watching.